nesting, to lay their eggs in. And when you see the entrance of the holes is covered, you see there has been success. The wild bees laid their eggs in. And we got this in the field also, and there you can see more, and I can explain more over the connection. And so I would like to go over there to give them nutrition. They needed food. But 50 years later, we are now in the position that the providing of food is yet actually no problem within Germany. But now the challenge is that we get species of wild animals, of wild plants, who have the problem that they are getting less and less and less, and we need something to do. And this is the reason why we are acting here. And Mr. Olix wanted me to explain to you this connection. And I have discussions with his father, because I say, well, every weed I ripped out with my hands, and why are you bringing back? And this is the explanation why, okay? So this is, when you look at the area, a triangular part of the countryside. And this is a good thing for a nature measure, because the triangular area is difficult for Mr. Olix to drive with his tractor. It's getting narrower and narrower, and so he says, if you need some room, some space for nature measurements, take this one and leave me all the rest, so we can make long rows with the potatoes. So you see there the production, the arable land, and this is the nature area. And now we'll go inside with you to show you what we are doing. Perhaps we can stop here. Well, what you see is this area has a size of about 5,000 square meters, and the special about it and the advantage of a triangular area is that you get an inner space. When you only got stripped flowering fields, flower stripes, everything around is just at the border, but here we have an inner space. So if Mr. Olix is plowing his fields or using pesticides, animals can come into here, and in the winter also it's just a shelter, a refuge, one advantage. And what we have here is food for the wild bees, for the butterflies. You see up to 24 different species of plants blossoming right now, but not all. We have to provide food for the wild bees from April to September, October, and so the species are chosen. And there's one more aspect, because this is just a temporary measure. It lasts for up to 5 years at this site, and then moves just, I don't know, 50 meters, 100 meters further. And so you have to imagine that Mr. Olix will crop again here sugar beet, cereals, wheat, potatoes. And so if you got really problem weeds, like, I don't know the English term, thistles, for example, yeah?
Blackgrass.
Yeah. He does not want them here. So we choose wildflowers who blossom, yes, and provide good advantage for the wild species, but are no problem weeds within the countryside for farming. And this is a job of me to check for nature, but also for the farmer, that he can deal with it. So also that no problem weeds move into his potato field, for example. And there you got the foraging area. This is one part of the wild bees that they need. It's kind of that they can make the foraging, but they need one thing more, and this is the nesting. This is what I showed you over there with the bee hotel. But you need to know that the wild bees, especially the small ones, have just an activity range of 100-200 meters. So this is quite too far. So they need just an offer again for doing the nesting. And this is what you see over there. These are small bee hotels again, here within the countryside, within the measure. And we offer the different materials of wood and loam, and here bamboo for the different species to do their nesting. And they are constructed here in a way that they are resistant against weather. Such a bee hotel you can have within a small forest or leaning at a building, but these in the open landscape have to be very hard. So we use this metal shelter, and just to give you an imagination.
And it needs to be covered.
Yes, of course, against the rain. Yeah, and they are exposed to the southeast because this is the warmest side. And when the sun is here, you can see wild bees flying and laying their eggs, and you see a success when a hole is covered. You see it here, 2 are covered, and I think where you are standing, just take your photo. You see them also. Yeah. And the wild bees, I don't know if you know this, the biology of the wild bees differs completely from the honeybees. The honeybees make those large populations, they build states. But the wild bees are just solitary individuums. They fly in the spring and lay their eggs alone, and they won't see their new generation in the new year. And so when you make measures for them, you have to do complete different things in terms of differing from measures for the honeybees. And what you need to know also, that we have about 250 wild bees here in Western Germany, and about half of them does their nesting above soil surface, but half of them does the nesting below soil surface, and we have to offer them also something. And this is what you see over there, the pile of soil. Perhaps we can move there. I can show you something. This is subsoil from, I don't know, 1 meter below the earth. And what's the aim? You can see here. These are 2 holes, probably from wild bees, where the nesting is done, and it's not finished. Next week my colleague will come with a spade and make it a steep wall. So it is shined by the sun, and it's quite warm, and it's made for the wild bees to do the nesting inside. And I think that kind of this has not been experienced yet, but we will check with the scientists if there is success with this measure. And then we want farmers to come and have a look that this is possible with their tools, with their tractors, and this brings success for the nature. That brings benefit. And this is kind of expression I can give you. I would like to ask you more questions. Otherwise, I can tell you something more about different measures. But I think it's always better that you ask something you want to know.
Okay. I think you said this would stay here for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then move where to?
Where to another field of Mr. Olix.
Yeah.
Will
So the bees migrate?
Yeah.
So quite close.
Yeah. So this is a good thing. If you move too far, 500 meters, 1 kilometer, and you do not leave anything there of foraging area, it's a great problem because they will starve. And of course we have to imagine this. You need to know that this is the second measure area within the project. It's the 6th year. That means we had just another 5 years before up over there. And there we left flowering strips, so that the wild bees established there are still provided. Yes, and you have to connect them, because if you want a new area, you need time and you need the possibility of the wild bees to come there, like stepstones within the open landscape.
Yeah.
Do you know how, do you have some sort of idea how many more bees this might bring to this property doing this versus if you didn't do it?
Well, I can tell you any numbers, but I know that it is successful. Counting the species, the different species, and the individuums of one species. This I know. We got a scientist here, a specialist for wild bees, butterflies, and birds, and he counts them. But I don't have the numbers in my mind.
And do you use pesticide here or not?
Not here, of course not inside. This would be no good for the
Because
no. But they are used inside the potatoes. And what we got is a buffering stripe. It's up to 3 or I don't know 6 meters, 3 meters at the edge of this measure, in between potatoes and this measure. And the aim of this buffering stripe is to stop the pesticides from coming inside here.
and which species of bee here?
Hmm?
Which species? What is the species name of the bee here?
Oh, there are 250 different species of wild bees.
Wild bees, okay.
So I can tell you some Osmia trincata or
And is it a suitable environment to protect here? Because they are wild and they are brought here in the commercial land. Is it suitable environment to keep here?
no. The wild bees, this is the natural habitat. The agricultural landscape. In former days, all the species of wild bees lived here together with the farmer and had the possibilities to live, because something was blossoming there and something was blossoming here. But the landscape is very intensely used nowadays, so you have to construct such measures to give them really new possibility to live. But the wild bees were always here. The last 10,000 years when humans started making agriculture, because before it was a forest up here. But within the open landscape it was their home. So we don't bring them here inside new.
And if we don't get this wild bee species, then can we protect like Apis mellifera, like that commercial bee?
I don't understand.
If you do not get these types of wild bee in Nepal, I'm from Nepal, and there is the Apis mellifera species, the name of the species, that Apis mellifera, that is producing as a commercial farming in Nepal. Is that suitable to protect in our farm?
Well, you should always protect this, that this is a species that belongs to your country. All these species that belong here should be protected, and measures should be taken that they get a new home and that they are no longer endangered. But I think it's no good to bring new species inside, not your species to my country or our species to your country. I think this is no good. It's called neo-fauna, and should always be restricted to the area they live in nature.
For that purpose, we have to restrict the pesticide in the farm, yeah?
In this area, yes, but outside I don't see that it would be not possible. Welcome.
So, what's your name, please?
My name is Patrick Lind.
And you organize and job?
My organization is the FlächenAgentur Rheinland. It's Area Agency Rhineland.
You are the agricultural scientist.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
How many species of plants have you got in this mix?
Yeah.
Which mix is it?
We got 3 different mixtures. This one is the mixture of highest ecological level. It's up to I think 24 species. 24. These are wild plants. We got this tribe. I think 12 to 15 species. But these are cultivated plants. It's something like
Vetch.
yeah, some rapeseed or something like this, which is flowering. And we got the third mixture I told you as buffering stripe over there, and this is from year to year, which need to be seeded 1 year after another again. And these ones continue for the 5 years, but they are treated once a year with a cutter to cut them down, because then if they regrow again, you got more blossoming than compared to if you would let them grow all the 5 years without ever being mowed, cutted.
And what about birds? Do you count birds?
Yes,
And
birds are counted also.
I can hear the skylarks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the most popular measure for the skylark is the skylark plot. You know the skylark plots?
Yeah.
They're also made inside the cereals here. Yeah.
Yeah. And what other species of birds specific to the Rhineland? Maybe it's difficult in German
that's
and
the
English.
problem, huh? I can tell you the German words, and skylark I know in English,
Yeah.
but we got the Grauammer, Rebhuhn, Fasan.
Habe ich noch eine Liste.
Oh,
You've got a list.
Irgendwo eine Liste.